morning. Now we have a nice bright sunny morning this morning here in Winnipeg. Yeah, big difference from yesterday. There's a rabbit at the carrots. Yeah, and the birds have been coming to the bird feeder, although I think I am going to have to go out there. I'm noticing that the feeder on the left, I think it's getting a log jam. The seeds don't seem to be wanting to drop down, but we'll check that out later. However, now, before we roll back so that you can see how we got to the place we're at right now, and by the way, the roll back is quite long. I want to say that at least 2 viewers came up with a better idea than taking a picture of that. And I'll show you what that is after. But I think what we should do is just roll back and see how it is we got to this place. Okay, right now the stern is probably about that far from the end, like this thing here. Now we're going to want to move this in. Let's see here. I'm going to make a mark on the... This is going to have to come off anyway. I still haven't put a new blade in. Okay. So I want to leave enough room that I can put a little piece of foam, or this kind of stuff. We might have to readjust it later. And now to know how far in to move this, okay, where's Tennessee Jim's pen? I know it works. There we go. Okay, so right now, if I was to have this part here, right at the edge here, it'd be just about right. Maybe we'll give it a little bit more room here. Okay. And now we have to allow for the fact that we got this piece right here. So I will subtract off of there whatever this is, and that way I know that when we bring this whole thing up, I guess I'll have to maybe pry it off of here. I don't think I can. This is hot glue gunned on. At least I didn't use the headless pinner, so it should come apart fairly easy. Anyway, I can do that all down in the workshop now. I got the measurements right. I was thinking of taking the camera down and trying to video it, but there's only so much that I can do, or that I feel like doing. Let's put it that way. What time we got here? 2:14 in the afternoon. My energy's starting to, or my mojo's starting to wane, you might say. Okay, so all being well, the next time you see this thing on the model table, it should be just right. All being well. Okay, it's pretty crude, but I think it's going to be effective. And this is actually going to be the first time I'm setting it down in here since I measured everything out. Might need a little adjusting. Let's very, very carefully now try not to rub the sides. Okay. Now the idea is it should stay in there. Yeah. What do you think? I think it's time to put the deck on. That's what I think. Okay, this is the only jar I've got of the Hull Red, and it's the thinned out version. So it doesn't want to work very good with a paintbrush. So as far as repairing these little white spots that are along the sides, I'm probably going to have to do touching up again later anyway, like towards the end of the build. There's bound to be little scrapes and so on that it's going to get, just unless I'm really, really lucky, if I'm really, really careful. So I'm not going to touch these spots up now. I'm just going to leave them. Well, I don't have the right paint anyway, so no. This is going to be the first time I've tried to squeeze this in since we painted, so I don't see any reason why it shouldn't fit. It might be slightly tighter, but it shouldn't be that much tighter. Okay, I think that the thing to do will be to do the bow and the stern first and get it down, and then just start working my way along. It's either that or else maybe what I should do is put some kind of weights on it or elastic bands or something. You know, it's a pretty good fit. It's a pretty good fit. I don't think that it has to be fastened to those cross members. I think they are just there to keep the deck from, you know, sagging. Okay, I think possibly the best thing to do will be for gluing it. Well, that is, I'm just going to go along with some CA thin, probably in a syringe, and then I can put it delicately all the way along and just let it wick its way in. It fits quite nice here. Now I don't want to be, you know, the deck is not clear coated, so you know it will mark up a little easier. I know that people are thinking, well, Ron, why did you clear coat it? Well, I'm thinking that possibly some of these pieces I have to glue on might glue on better if the deck is not clear coated. But well, anyway, I've been doing so much wrong, like what's one more thing, right? Okay, let's just sort of recompose here and think about what we're going to do, because once we get started we pretty much are committed. Okay, I guess about an hour, a couple hours maybe has gone by here since I took those last few scenes here, dropped the deck down, and I'm pretty sure you picked up on the fact that I had made a mistake there, and I'd said I was going to use the CA thin, but I meant the Tamiya extra thin. And my plan is to try and get it to go along the crack and wick its way in, and hopefully it will not be running into the planking here. At least that's the plan. I think it should work. I don't want to be using my greasy fingers here. You can see that there is. I'm guessing it takes maybe a kilogram of pressure here to push this down. So I've got to think of what am I going to do all the way along to hold this in place, because I want to be able to, will you know, get this in place, and then drag my needle along. I think that would probably work the best. And then a lot of I know it's not going to glue everywhere, but it will glue enough that it won't come up. Now the other alternative is to take the slow setting glue, or maybe even the Revell Contacta. I could use that and go along very, very quickly all the way around the outside, and then drop the deck into place. Anyway, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but whatever it is, I only get one chance at it, because once it glues in place, I'm not going to be able to bring it back out. Now, on the brighter note, when I was editing out those last few scenes there, I checked and I saw that Steve in the model shed is going to be doing the Bismarck, Trumpeter's 1/200 scale Bismarck, like I did. He is going to be using the Pontos detailing kit, and this is probably old news to some of you, because I think it's a day or two ago already he announced he was going to do it, and I missed his announcement. I don't know why. I'm subscribed. I think it's a case of I get notified, and I don't see the notification. It should just jump right out at me and say, "Hey, Ron, you got a notification here." But no, it doesn't do that. It goes, a little notification pops up in the right-hand lower corner of my screen, and if I'm busy doing something else, I don't see it. Either that, or it could be that when I've got the editing program up, the notifications don't work, and the editing program goes right over top of them. I don't know. All I know is I don't get to see them right away, and then I find out a day or two later that somebody put something up and I didn't know about it. And excuse me. And as Peter said in his live broadcast, I'm a little late to the party. and then he added, "In fact, you missed the whole thing." Yeah, that's about it. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to Steve's build, and I can tell from the comments that already were up for that announcement that a lot of you that are watching this are also going to be watching Steve. So, and those of you who don't know, I would follow this guy. He'll teach you how to build properly. He'll show you quality building. It won't be a case of, "Oh, there's white spots on the side of my hull. Well, we'll just call them seagull droppings," and no, he wouldn't do that. Anyway, yeah, let's move along here. Okay, I was noticing that when I press this down like this, all the rest of the deck, right through, all the way right to the stern, is just about, well, it's in the right place. It doesn't have to go down any further. Well, maybe a little bit right here. Okay, it's down now. But when I press this down right here, because it sort of swoops up, if you know what I mean, this comes up. So now this might be a little bit on the. No, I don't think it'll hurt it. So we've got this part in the right place now, and so is everything else, I'm pretty sure. Now we just gotta be able to hold this down at the same time. Or would it be better to shove this in first? No, that's as far down as it'll go. I'm pressing pretty hard here. Yeah, it's. Maybe I should be moving this up just a little bit. No, I wouldn't use this, but this is the idea, because I might end up gluing the cloth to the gunnel. So I gotta hold this down and glue it. Maybe I could just hold it with my hand. Okay, decisions. Well, I think we're getting the right idea here. Okay, we're just going to do a dry run here. I don't even have any extra thin in the new needle yet. I made up a new needle here and ground down the point. Now, what would happen is this is being held down pretty much where we need it. If I could just take now and what do we got here? A sailor's escaping. A little beetle of some kind. Okay, push stop. I gotta get rid of it. Okay, I'm back. I went looking for my insect aspirator, and when I came back I couldn't find the little beetle. Couldn't find the insect aspirator anyway. Okay, now my thinking is, if we have it like this, and if I was to put some right along the edge like this, okay, right there, and right here, okay, and I think it's going to want to go okay along like that, and like this. You notice how it sort of wants to just sort of stay in the crack. Okay, this is the plan, okay. All right, now, how do we hold this down? Well, we take our other jig here, and we sort of push it down into place, and I think there will be enough melding going on that it will allow this point here to go down into the hull where it is supposed to go. Let me just take the weight off of the, see if this will go down any further. That's about it. Unless I was to lift. No, I don't think that's the way it's supposed to go. I think that's about as far down as it'll go. And like I say, there will be a certain amount of melding going on right in here. Hope you can see that. And it will go down. That's my thinking anyway. Should we try it and see if it's going to work? I only get one shot at this though. Okay, so let me load my new syringe here with new extra thin. Okay, change in plans here. You'll notice that this has gone down inside the gunnels better than it had before. And what I noticed was that if I was to, I took the weight off and then I lifted on the midships a little bit. Now the stern is still in place. Okay, like this. And I'm thinking maybe it'd be a good idea to just get the bow glued in place here like this. Yeah, that might work. But I want to apply the glue the same way as I had said before, along the edge, and then shove this in. All right, here we go. The die is cast here. Okay, now we're going to want to shove this down. Oh my, I got quite a bit in there, didn't I? Let's lift this up a bit here. Okay, now let's get our weight on here. Oh, my sponges came off. You can't see it, but... Okay. Now I think once that dries, I hope it's not wicking underneath Mr. T's poking device. Okay, I think once that dries rather, it's going to make a very strong bond because it's melding right now. Well, I think we better call it an evening here. 13 minutes after 8. Yeah, I suppose I probably could take the weight off of here now and it probably would stay, but we'll let it completely dry out overnight. And then this is probably the area right here where this bow is, or dip in the deck, or whatever. I think it's probably the most stress of anywhere along the deck, and we should have no problem with the rest of it. But we're going to have to do that tomorrow. So we'll see you in the morning. Well, it is morning. And before we take all this weight off of the deck and see what we've got, at least 2 viewers have come up with a very brainy solution here, and I don't know why I didn't think of that. All you have to do is just take a piece of tape and put it over top of the numbers. And then later, after you've sprayed, you remove the tape, and there's your numbers. Why didn't I think of that? I mean, it's probably because it's so obvious. Okay, let's see what we can do here. All right. Now, how far did our glue wick back this way? Probably to about here, because this is not moving, whereas here it seems to be moving. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just continue on. I think this system is a good idea. Yeah. Now, we did enough of this last night already. Let's not be doing it anymore. Yeah, I should go and wash the grease off the ends of my fingers here. I'm going to be wanting to touch the deck. I don't want to have to keep wanting to look for my little towel here. And although maybe it might be a good idea. Okay, we have worked our way all the way to the stern, and it seems to be down about as far as it can go. We're just gonna Now, I think using this syringe is a better idea than trying to use the applicator that comes in the jar. I know that it is wicking into the deck a little bit. All right, once that melds, now it's not gonna meld everywhere, but it should at least every maybe half an inch make contact somehow. And the idea is that the deck just won't pull out if you happen to lift up on it. And it's not gonna. Okay, you will notice as well as the fact that I still haven't put on a new blade, that the tops of these vents are sort of rounded over, like this is rounded over, this is rounded over. But this one here, it's flat on the top. And John was thinking that possibly now, because I had to flip it over to get rid of those and sand off those little push-out pin circles, that now that the bevel was the wrong way. But it is actually flat on the top. At the beginning of today's episode, I mentioned that I thought there was something wrong with our bird feeder. I thought we had another log jam. If you remember, about a couple of weeks ago, we actually did have a log jam. Now, when I get out there, I can't actually see down into it. Either it's too tall or I'm too short, or maybe a little bit of both. Anyway, all I can do is stick my finger down in there, and when I did, I realized that, hey, there is seeds there in the tray. But I figured as long as I'm there anyway, and it had this little piece of wire coat hanger, I may as well make use of it and dislodge anything that might be sort of bunched up, because we have had a lot of rain lately, and I think that that's probably what would cause it to bunch up. If the seeds were to get wet, they'd swell and stick together, but anyway, I guess it was okay. But now for sure it is. Now, a moment ago, when I was turning our Rodney around, the reason I turned it around is because I wanted to look at this side here. Anyway, I was noticing how it was much easier to handle, because it is probably about this much shorter than the hood was. And you actually notice it when you're flipping this thing around. Well, not flipping. Anyway, the reason I wanted to look at this side is because it was right around amidships here when I was going along this side with the syringe that I accidentally put too much on, and it dissolved the, I think it was right around here, it dissolved the deck tan a little bit, and I thought it was running down this side. Now I couldn't see it because this side was on the far side before. Anyway, let's just move in here. I'm not seeing anything. I thought I was going to see a real mess here that I was going to have to spray over, but maybe all that happened was there was just a little bit of this only just the extra thin, and then when it evaporated, well, it turned back to gray again, because I'm not seeing anything, but it should be right about here. Okay, that's good news. This was the spot right here. And you can just barely see anything there. Yeah, I don't need to worry about it. Okay, as I was referring to earlier, we got lots of room here for lots more pieces. I think we can probably go ahead and get these pieces off step 14. There is going to be some photo etch involved, but I think we can live through that. It looks like it's very, very easy to put on photo etch, even for me. The anchor has to be put together. Now the anchor's got to be painted on both sides, I would think. It is going to be hanging down from the front of the ship there, and you're only going to see one side of it, but you might want to flip it over and do both sides. I don't know if I'll put the anchor down in there. Well, we'll see when we get to it. It looks like most of this kind of stuff, like even the breakwaters, I think they can stick down. Yeah, I think there's going to be enough room on here for all these parts. Now, the chain, of course, we're not going to lay the chain down. We'll suspend the chain and rotate it, sort of like we did with the Bismarck, and I think also with the Hood. Or did we dip the chain? Did we dip the chain in the black brass on the Hood? I can't remember. I know we sprayed it on. I know we sprayed it on the Bismarck. I actually remember doing it. Why can I remember the Bismarck that we did 3 years ago better than I can remember the Hood that we only did a year ago? I think it's probably because I'm sort of getting the builds mixed up, because so many of the parts are, you know, these ships are similar. They're pointy on both ends, and they got guns, and anyway. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and find some of these parts, and we'll work on it. But you know what? I think I'm going to call today's episode a day. So thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.